Good afternoon, Terry here at Rooster Farm. Today I'm going to be making another one of my favorite Christmas recipes, and this is an appetizer. So recipe number 7 is Antipasto. I make this recipe, it's from a book called Luck, and I've had this book for many years. My grandmother passed away, and this is one of the recipe books that she had, and it's because her son, my Uncle Al, my dad's brother, played hockey, and he was a professional hockey player for the Philadelphia Flyers. And one of the teams that he played before he was a Philadelphia Flyer was Maine Mariner, and I think it might have been a farm team of Philadelphia Flyers. Anyways, the family members and the wives of the players put together a cookbook every year called Luck, and the players' family would, share these recipes. And this recipe is appetizing Italian antipasto, and it was made by the family of player Michelle St. Croix. So I've been making this for a long time. Some of the ingredients, like I don't like olives, I don't like things, but when it's all together in this recipe, I don't know, I love olives. I love all the things that's put in this recipe. So you must try it. Anyways, it's a recipe I normally make obviously every Christmas, but I usually get help to make it because it can make a lot. You can either can it and save it again to eat throughout the year, but most of the time I just usually eat antipasto at Christmas time, and I have my sister and I get together and we share making the recipe, and then it saves money on the cost to buy the ingredients, and then we both get to have some yummy antipasto. So let's get started. So here's a little look of the actual recipe in the book, and a little scan of some of the ingredients you're going to need. It's a very, very simple recipe, but it's just, there's a lot of chopping involved, but the outcome is wonderful. And here we go. So we need 2 carrots. Now I don't like my carrots and the ingredients in the antipasto to be like too much, because you like to have a little bit on your cracker when you use crackers and you put a little bit of the antipasto. You don't want it to be like all carrots or all cauliflower. So I like to cut mine into, like sort of little pieces, so it's not too much on one cracker. And depending on the size of the carrot, it's usually, sometimes I cut them in quarters. And to start, before we start cutting all the ingredients, you're going to get a whole head of cauliflower, and you're going to pour some boiling water over it. You just want it to be like not fully cooked. You still want it to be crunchy when you eat it. So I poured the water over here, and then every few minutes I just flipped the cauliflower over so that the hot water would be on the top as well. And you're going to need 2 stalks of celery, and again, the same as the carrots, you're just going to cut them into little pieces. There we go, little pieces. And then you're going to cut peppers, a red and a green pepper. And it's been about 10 minutes. You don't want it to sit too long on the water, so I just drain the water off and let it cool enough to be able to cut it. You can't see, I have a huge pot that as I'm cutting all the ingredients, I'm just throwing all the cut ingredients into a large pot. And now I'm going to cut the cauliflower. Just cut it in half and then get rid of the hard core in the center there. The chickens are going to get to eat that. And now you're going to get some stuffed olives. Just drain the liquid. And I cut the olives just in 3. So each olive I slice 3 times. All right, and now we're going to use 1 jar of pickled onions. Drain, and then I usually just cut these in half. And a small jar of pickles. Drain. And some sliced black olives. So I'm just going to drain these because they're all ready to go into the pot. And then we need a can of sliced mushrooms. And they're all ready to go. They're all chopped. And some green beans as well. So here's my big pot, and I've added everything. Now I'm just going to add the last 3 items, the mushrooms, the beans, and the black olives. You're going to move it over to the stove, and then you're going to add the remaining ingredients. So we need a 1/4 cup of olive oil, a 1/4 cup of white vinegar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And I add a can of drained tuna. That's optional. You don't have to add that if you don't want to. And you're going to add a small bottle of ketchup and a small bottle of chili sauce. Sometimes, the recipe here calls for a tin of anchovies, which I've never added. I've only ever added tuna, but that's an option as well. You can add either 1 tin of anchovies or 1 tin of tuna. And we're going to give this a good stir and make sure it's all combined, and you're just going to turn the heat on to high, and you're just going to literally just bring it to a boil. And once it starts boiling, you're going to turn it off. And then you're gonna either you can put it into some canning jars and can it to save for later. You can put it in containers and put it in the freezer. It's good to be you can put it in the freezer. What I did is I had 2 this time of year, and during COVID I've been struggling to find canning jars, and I had just I think I only had about 8 jars. So here it is, all nice mixed, and it's all been cooked. And I'm ready to put it into my jars. So here's my nice jars, all sealed and ready to give away.